Welcome back to our channel, fellow Port Charles addict. Today is a beautiful day to dive into the absolute madness that just dropped on our... The ground has literally split open, swallowing every truth we thought. The momentum just shifted so violently it gave me whiplash, leaving one of our own staring down an impossible, life-shattering... Let's get into it. I cannot believe they did. I mean, I am sitting here staring at my screen at 2 in the morning, completely unable to process the absolute nuke the writers just dropped. Are you kidding me right now? Are you actually kidding me? Before I even get into the nitty-gritty of how it happened, I just need to scream for a sec. Jack Brennan is Jax's brother? Jack Brennan is Josslyn's uncle? I need a paper bag to breathe into, because my mind is officially blown into a million. This changes absolutely everything we have seen for the past. Every single interaction, every single look, every single order given, it is all tainted now. I have been watching this show religiously since 2015, and I have seen my fair share of crazy family tree rewrites and long-lost relatives popping out of the woodwork. Remember when they tried to pull that weird stunt with the Cassadine heirs a few years back? Yeah, didn't work then either. It felt forced. But this is on a whole other level, because it actually makes a terrifying amount of sense when you sit down and look. And I know some people are loving this twist, but personally, I am so torn. I am half celebrating because the drama is going to be top tier, and half complaining because my heart is breaking for Josslyn. So let's rewind and break down exactly how our girl Josslyn stumbled into the mother of all WS. Because we all know Josslyn has been highly suspicious of Brennan. We watched her secretly investigating his miraculous recovery from that stroke. We all knew the stroke was a complete medical fraud to keep him out of Steinmauer and safely tucked away at Turning Wood. Josslyn knew it too. She is smart, she is relentless, and she is her mother's daughter. She wasn't just gonna let that go. But watching her sneak into the WSB mainframe to dig into his medical files was next level intent. Am I the only one who felt like they were holding their breath during that entire... The glow of the computer screen in the dark, the frantic typing, the fear that someone was going to walk in and catch her committing absolute treason against her commanding officer. She was just looking for proof of the saline fake-out. She was just looking for the medical logs to prove Brennan faked the locked-in syndrome. And then she hits a wall. A highly encrypted, top-tier security genetic file attached to Brennan's profile. Why would a standard medical file need that level of WSB encryption? That is when the alarm bells really started ringing in my head. Josslyn runs the decryption, and we have to sit there watching that excruciatingly slow progress. She runs a DNA cross-reference just to see what the WSB is hiding about his genetic marker. Then the screen flashes. The results pop up. Familial match. Confirmed. Direct bloodline. And the name staring back at her in glowing letters? Jasper Jack. I literally screamed at my television. I woke up. My dog. Josslyn's face in that moment was a masterclass. You could see the exact second her entire reality. The confusion, the denial, and then the crushing, suffocating realization. Jack Brennan, the ruthless WSB chief, the man who has been manipulating the board in Port Charles, the man who recruited her into a life of international espionage, is her father's biological brother. He is her uncle. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's back up and look at the actual history here, because we need to talk about the Jack. We all know Jack. Jasper Jax is the suave, international corporate raider. He always had that global man of mystery vibe. And we cannot forget his other brother, Jerry Jack. Jerry was a literal terrorist who poisoned water supplies and held whole hotels hostage. The Jax bloodline is already cursed with this bizarre duality of charming businessmen and absolute psych. So adding Jack Brennan to this family tree, it fit. The accent, the tailored suits, the effortless way he commands a room, the ruthless criminal and spy. Brennan is cut from the exact same cloth as Jax and Jerry. But why was he a secret? Why did Jax never mention? Was Brennan the black sheep who went into Black Ops and got erased from the family record? Or does Jax even know? My brain is spinning with the... Okay, back to the point. The real tragedy here is Josslyn. Can we talk about the psychological warfare Brennan has been waging on this poor girl? Because if Jack Brennan is Jasper Jax's brother, that means every single interaction he has had with Josslyn has been laced with a hidden agenda. Every single one. Why did he recruit her into the WSB? Josslyn thought it was because she was talented. She thought it was because she proved herself during that whole nightmare on Spoon Island with Ross Cullen. She thought Brennan saw her potential, her drive, her need to fight for justice. She built this whole new identity around being a capable, independent agent who earned her spot. And now she has to sit there and wonder if it was all just nepotism. Did he pull strings to get his niece into the agency? Was she just a diversity hire for the Jax family spy ring? That alone is enough to destroy her. But it gets so much worse when you think about his actual motive. Is Brennan trying to protect her? I mean, maybe in his own twisted sociopathic way, he thinks keeping his niece close to him in the WSB is the only way to keep her safe from the mob wars in Port Charles. Maybe he looked at Sonny's world, looked at Carly's chaos, and decided the WSB was a safer bet. But let's be real. This is Jack Brennan we are talking about. The man is a master manipulator. He is playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. I am sorry, but I do not buy the protective uncle routine for a second. He is using her. He is manipulating. He brought her into the WSB so he could control her, so he could have a pawn with direct ties to Carly, Sonny, and the quartermaster. He isolated her from her normal life and wrapped her up in his classified world so she would be loyal. It is textbook grooming for an intelligence asset, and it makes my skin. Josslyn is feeling so deeply betrayed right now, and she has every right. She trusted this man. She looked up to him as a mentor. She defied her mother. Carly begged her, literally wept by her hospital bed, pleading with Josslyn to leave the WS. And Josslyn stood her ground, defending Brennan's agency, defending her new career. And all the while, Brennan was sitting there knowing he was her uncle, keeping this massive, earth-shattering secret from her. So now, we arrive at the impossible choice. The dilemma that is going to define Josslyn's entire character arc for the next year. What on earth does she do with this? Option 1. She follows protocol. She is a sworn agent of the WS. She has uncovered massive corruption, identity fraud, and a conflict of interest involving her commanding officer. She is supposed to report this directly to Z in Geneva. She is supposed to blow the whistle. But if she does that, what happens to Jack? Jasper Jacks is a prominent international business. If the world finds out he is the secret brother of a corrupt WSB chief who faked a stroke and runs illegal black ops, Jax's reputation is completely ruined. The scandal would destroy his empire. The WSB might even investigate Jax to see if he has been funding Brennan's rogue op. Josslyn loves her dad. She cannot just throw him to the wolves, especially when she doesn't even know if Jax is aware of Brennan's existence. Option 2. She keeps her mouth shut. She hides the DNA file. She covers up the hack. She protects her father's reputation and keeps the family's secret buried. But if she does that, she is compromised. She crosses the line from being a righteous agent fighting for justice to being just another dirty spy covering up for her corrupt boss. She becomes exactly like Ross Cullen. She becomes exactly what she hates. And worse, she places herself entirely under Brennan's thumb. If Brennan ever finds out she knows, he owns her. I am so stressed. I mean, think about the Carly factor in all of it. Carly already hates the WS. Carly has been trying to get Josslyn out of this. Imagine Carly finding out that the man running her daughter's life, the man who has been lurking around Port Charles causing absolute chaos, is her ex-husband's brother. Carly would go nuclear. She would literally burn the WSB field office to the ground with Brennan inside. Wait, I'm going off on a tangent again. But it's all connected. The web of secrets is just too thick. I know some fans in the forums are saying Josslyn should just use this as blackmail leverage against Brennan. Like, hey, Uncle Jack, I know who you are. Give me the best field assignments or I tell Z. But that is not Josslyn. That is a Nell move. That is an Ava Jerome. Josslyn has too much of Bobby's moral compass in her to play dirty like that. Or does she? Because let's face it, being in the WSB has already... We saw her willing to cover up the truth about Cullum's death to protect Jason and Valentine. She is already learning how to live in the grave. Maybe discovering her uncle is a corrupt spy master will be the final push she needs to fully embrace the dark side of S. I am dreading the moment she has to confront. Can you imagine the dialogue? The tension? I know who you are, Uncle Jack. Chill. Absolute chill. I just hope the writers do not rush. Let her sit with the secret. Let her paranoia build. Let her question every single order he gives. Is he sending her on this mission because she is the best agent? Or because she is a Jack? And what about Jack? Is Ingo Rademacher coming back? Are they going to recast? Because you cannot drop a bomb like Jack Brennan is Jasper Jax's brother and not bring Jax back to Port Charles to answer. We need a brotherly showdown. We need Jax storming into Turning Woods, demanding to know why Brennan dragged his daughter into this mess. I am so emotionally invested in this, it is actually unhealthy. But this is why we watch soaps, right? For the moments that make us scream at our TVs and furiously type out 1,000-word essays at 2 a.m. Josslyn is standing on the edge of a cliff, and no matter which way she jumps, her life is going to... Will Josslyn expose her secret uncle and risk ruining Jax, or will she cross the line to protect her blood? Drop your wildest theories below, hit that subscribe button, and join the debate.